Hi friends, welcome back to another video with Mountain Tribe Homestead. My name is Amberly. This week is actually 2 weeks to put together, and I have been a week behind in the week in the life videos, but I'm going to take an opportunity where we had a slow week recently, and I'm just going to put together 2 weeks and put them into 1 week because I didn't have enough content. So these 2 weeks started off with restocking some product for Mountain Tribe Homestead. We have a website if you're interested in looking what items we have for sale that we sell and what's in stock, but I've restocked a new item that we have, and this is a bunch of beard oils, and we currently have 3 varieties. And so that's how our weeks started off these 2 weeks. Something that I have been working with for quite a while now is trying to get pickle smell out of these jar lids. I pick up free glass pickle jars from a local sandwich shop, and they are wonderful and it saves so much money. But the difficult part is getting that pickle smell out of those lids. So I have been working very diligently and trying all different types of things recommended to me through our Instagram stories, and I'm still working on trying other methods, but this is something that went on during these 2 weeks. I also started stocking the mustard ingredients. This is a new thing that I have been doing, is making our own mustard. I've been slowly trying to make from scratch our different condiments and different things like different types of breads and stuff, but mustard is a new thing for us that we are making on our own. And so I've got mustard seed powder and yellow mustard seeds. And so I just worked on getting this put into some jars. These are 2 of the jars that came from the little sandwich shop where I get the pickle jars from. These are actually jelly jars, so I did not have to work very hard to get any smells out of them because all they had was strawberry jelly in these jars. They are a wonderful size. It has 2 pounds of strawberry jelly in there. Again, it's not our jelly jars. It's from a sandwich shop here local that volunteered to allow us to use up their pickle jars and any glass jars they have. That way they don't go into the trash. But I'm really excited that we have been starting to make our own mustard. If you have been following us for quite a while, you should be well aware now that I regularly make refrigerator dough. This is not my recipe, this is someone else's recipe, and I can put the links down below for all of this. But this refrigerator dough I use for many things, and one of those things that we really love is using it and stretching it out for garlic butter breadsticks. It's very simple, and I stretch it out and I kind of whip it back and forth, and it just gets longer and longer. And another thing that you should know about me, if you haven't been following us, is that I do like to cut corners a little bit when it comes to saving a mess and trying to not have so many dishes and messes to clean up. So I just whip that dough back and forth instead of rolling it on the counter, and I just put it on parchment paper and then put it in the oven at 350 for a while, and then I crank it up to 425 near the end of it when it's almost done, so that the outside's a little crunchy and the inside is soft. And then what I do is I just take a little cube of frozen minced garlic that I freeze into little pucks, and I take a frozen one of those and put it in a pan with a bunch of butter, and I melt it down and get it into some nice garlicky butter, and then I just kind of paint that garlic butter over the breadsticks. And I'm going to show you exactly why I do voiceovers. Here is a perfect example of why I do voiceovers on the videos. The dogs howl. We have Siberian Huskies, and this is what they regularly sound like. So as you can see, it's very difficult for me to do videos where I'm talking as I'm doing things because I do not control those dogs, and they howl just randomly whenever they want, and it's just part of who they are. They are Siberian Huskies, and that's just what they do. So I'm okay with it. We love it, but it's just difficult to do videos. But okay, moving on. We had many warm days here during these 2 weeks, and so there was a lot of time spent outside, and we got the garden together, we transplanted things, we got our soils mixed up for the green stalks, we've cleared out gardens, we've redone some stuff, and just been outside and spending time outside together as a family. And I even had a friend come up, and I'll put a link down below with our latest garden update, but we were outside quite a bit. The red buds where we live in Virginia have been blooming these 2 weeks of this video, and so we went on a little hike and we harvested some red bud blooms on a beautiful piece of property. We ran into a snake while we were there. It was a huge snake, but it was just a black snake. It wasn't anything to worry about. But as you can see, the red buds are beautiful. So the goal with harvesting these red bud blooms after the flowers have opened on the trees is that I was going to make a red bud tea and then turn that into red bud jelly, which is a beautiful color. I've never personally had it, and this was something that was going to be an experiment, but I don't know what was going on with these red buds, but they were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. I harvested them and I went to go do the red bud tea, and it just wasn't working. So I've cleaned them off. We destemmed them. We had them put in hot water, and they just weren't infusing into that hot water like they should have. So we scratched that and we ended up not doing it. So that was a fail. And that's okay. Not everything that we do is going to work out the very first time we do it. So next year we'll go and we'll try it again. Okay, so back in the garden, we've spent a lot of time in the garden. So as you can see, it's kind of difficult to have content when it just is kind of the same kind of thing over and over again. I have our garden updates that we do separately, and so it's hard for me to put those in, all of that information, into these week in the life videos. I will link all of the garden update, the latest one, down below. We did go, a neighbor had some Rosa Sharon that they were giving away for free, and they had 30 little baby ones that they dug up. So I didn't have any place for them. I wasn't prepared. It was unexpected, and I went ahead and grabbed them because I definitely wanted them and I have plans for them, but I just am not ready for them. So I went ahead and put them in the ground. I dug a hole and put them in the ground, and they're just going to stay there and hopefully survive until I get time to put them where I would like to put them. So this is just kind of a little view around the garden, and don't mind those tights hanging there. I brought them out because if I don't have them out there, those old tights, I will forget about them. So we use old tights we cut them into little strips, and then we use them to tie up plants as they get bigger. So they're just hanging in the garden because otherwise I will forget to use them. But here's the lettuce that we transplanted, and it's getting bigger and perkier. If you remember in a past video, we planted peas along the back side of the fence there on only half of it, and then the other half is going to be where our cucumbers are going to be planted. We planted so many things. The 7-year-old has planted the majority of things. This year we planted carrots and onions in our green stalks, and so here she is just planting them and getting the seeds in there. And you can see my little bracelet on my hand that she made me. She's so creative and sweet and thoughtful. But we've spent a lot of time in the garden these past 2 weeks, and this current week we're also spending a lot of time in the garden. So we may step away from these week in the life videos and just focus on the garden update videos, and then if I have enough content to do week in the life videos, I will do them. But I think that the week in the life videos may just be every now and then, and it's going to be focused more on garden update videos and kind of what's going on in the garden. So there's just going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing in the garden, so that's going to be taking up a lot of our time, and there's not much else that we are going to be doing that is going to be worthy of being put into a video for many reasons. So that's kind of the rough plan of action. We did make a some new homemade chocolate cupcakes. This is a recipe from someone that I knew growing up, and her recipes were shared after she passed away, and this is the first time that I tried my hand at making her homemade chocolate cupcakes. I did not make the icing homemade. That was just leftover icing that 16-year-old used for her friend's birthday cake, but I tried this recipe out, and I didn't want to leave these cupcakes at home for all of us to eat, so I took and delivered some around the neighborhood. I took some to my parents, and of course they always are the first person to get food delivered when we have extra. And along with that refrigerator dough that we made the breadsticks from, we also make regularly jelly rolls. You can see Luca in the background peeking around, seeing what the 14-year-old's up to. She is rolling out the dough. This is something she likes to do. She loves to work on the jelly rolls whenever we have jelly rolls going on for the week's menu, and she always volunteers to do the jelly rolls. So she is getting really good at rolling that dough out and figuring out how thick the dough needs to be and how thick the jelly needs to be in there. But she just rolls it out and gets it to a certain thickness, and then she takes some butter. Jelly, and that's one of our favorite fillings to put inside. We have used apple butter and peach butter, and I had apple jelly that didn't set up, and it was more like a really thick apple syrup, so we tried that. The apple syrup one was a little bit too sweet, so we don't prefer that one, and we do not prefer the peach butter one. I like it, but everyone else, it's not their favorite. But this is their favorite. So a while back I got some seed potatoes, and I've got two different kinds here, and I have a whole video on the potato planting timeline, and I will link that down below. But we had seed potatoes that were sprouting, and I just kept an eye on them, and I knew that it was getting close. It was about the time of year that the potatoes needed to go in the ground, and so I got the potatoes cut up and I let them set out for a couple of days to kind of harden off so they don't get moldy after they are planted. And so I've got our homemade compost, and I've mixed that up with some soil and some other ingredients like worm castings and bone meal and blood meal and just other ingredients, and I've got it all mixed up. And this year I'm doing things a little differently, and I'm using, not only with the soil mixture, I'm also using some straw that I'm mixing in there kind of in alternating layers. I'm hoping that that's going to allow it to not get so compacted down. Last year I really struggled with this. And I also am using an old laundry basket. I have this laundry basket that's falling apart, and I was just like, what can I do with it? And so I'm doing a little bit of a potato experiment and trying to see if I can get these potatoes growing pretty well in that laundry basket. So I will link the potato video down below, but that is something that we got going on. And then I do have some more potatoes that I need to get going, and I will take care of that here probably this week since we have some warm weather going on. This last week was our Azure Standard pickup. I don't have to drive very far to do our pickup, thank goodness. A lot of people have to drive about an hour to their pickup, but ours is pretty local, so I don't have to go too far. Honestly, it takes me 30 minutes to get anywhere from where I live, so it was right in town where it is. But I'll link that video down below. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, friends. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.